are about the same price. The difference comes in the products that we put in and the way we put in those products. The old saying, you get what you pay for, is pretty accurate when you're building a home. If you put nicer windows in and you put nicer cabinets, it's going to cost a little bit more. If those things are important to you, then you want to do it. We can try to incorporate in your floor plan and get a house that you're going to be happy with.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right, welcome into Fitness Fanatics. Once again, I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the host, as always, Nicole Essing to my left. No Jeff again, as he is ready to watch an Orioles game. Is that today?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's got
Ben
there as well.
Too.
So yeah, he's no Jeff, but we do got Nicole as always, and we'll have a guest at the 9:30. So again, if you guys ever want to join in on the show, Starter Heyman text line always available to you. 402-464-5685. Put a face to the voice. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961. But nonetheless, Nicole, it's your show. What do you want to start with?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to shout out our sponsor. Fitness Fanatics is sponsored by Integrated Life Choices, which I said services last week. That was my fault. So Integrated Life Choices, ILC is hiring direct support professionals all over the state of Nebraska, full-time, part-time, days, evenings, weekends. You can apply at ilc.net/careers. Direct support professionals work to ensure a meaningful life for the people they support. They work to support people in achieving their hopes and dreams. So apologize for screwing that up last time. Now I can't even blame Jeff. I just typed it out wrong and I read what I typed. So my bad. Thank you so much to ILC. We do also have to begrudgingly give Jeff credit because if you haven't noticed yet, I am wearing a Packers hat, which means Jeff brought the hat back from Green Bay last week for me.
He actually brought it back.
He did.
Okay, I don't want to comment on the hat at all.
I
but
know.
Since we're here live on air.
I said I would wear it if he got it. And he was in Iowa by the time the show started. And actually he said that he did not really listen to the show, even though he was in the car on the way here last week. And then I said something to him about it. And then he listened to this segment, the part we were talking about the hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, I did have to throw you under the bus a little bit in that first segment. And he thought it was just about that. And then he stopped listening. So he listened to maybe 3 minutes of our show last week. Rude. He did go back and listen, but he was just in his car. He could have been totally listening.
He was down in the dumps.
I know.
For all those who didn't hear, he had to go 0-3, and we're going to blast that on the airwaves because that is fair. So 0-3 in the Tecmo Bowl.
Definitely tanked his Tecmo online league too. He's just, I don't know. His mind is on NCAA football. What's it called? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, NCAA football 25.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His mind's on that because once that comes out, Ben and him are pivoting to that. So
are you prepared for that? You might not see those guys for days at a time.
It's fine.
Well, you'll see Jeff at the gym.
Yeah.
Might be hard to get him to go. No,
I know.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, and Ben works so much too. So who knows? I don't know what they're going to do. Now, is it only on PlayStation?
I know it's on most of the consoles.
Okay.
It's probably going to be on PC.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Ben has an Xbox, but
it'll be on Xbox too.
Okay. I don't know.
It's EA. They like to make money. They'll spread it out.
I assumed. Yeah. I assumed. We're an Xbox house in our family in our house. But yeah, he did get me the hat. He also got me a keychain and a pair of earrings, which was kind of a head scratcher because I don't remember the last time I wore earrings. And so I'm like, well, it's the thought that counts. That was nice. He did admit that he got it at a gas station in Green Bay, but hey, that's fine. I even told him, like, you don't have to go to a sports store, just they're probably everywhere there. And they were going to a gas station here, you can find Husker stuff.
Oh, I
all
thought
the
you
time.
meant the earrings.
No, the earrings too. all the
okay.
stuff. You got it all at a gas
Hey,
station.
it's a good deal.
I know. So probably won't be wearing those, but it's the thought that counts, I suppose. Definitely appreciate that. But yeah, so him and our son Ben are in Kansas City this weekend for the Royals-Orioles game. Our son is a huge Orioles baseball fan, a huge baseball fan. And Harrison, remember last year when they went, is when the Denny's burnt down.
Mhm.
So if anyone's been to the Royals Stadium, there's a Denny's that was famously across the street. I think it's across like the river or something from the stadium. And there's a Denny's. And when they got to the hotel last year, Ben looked out the window and you could see the Denny's, and he Snapchatted like, "What of you?" Because it was just the Denny's out of their room. And then 12 hours later, they're woken up by smoke alarms, fire alarms, and there's a picture of Denny's on fire, and it burned down. And ironically enough, they're in the exact same hotel room now this
I was
year.
gonna say Jeff sent a follow-up picture, and I was
Yes.
like comparing it. I'm like, this looks
know.
like
The exact same room.
I honestly had a thought. I was like, I wonder if Jeff knocked on the person.
Right.
I thought he might do that.
I know. No, they just ironically got the exact same room in the
So they
hotel.
didn't ask for it.
They didn't.
That's crazy.
And so then Ben took a picture now where there's just nothing. Everything's been bulldozed. It's just an empty lot right now. So
the floor's still there,
that
which
was
is kind of weird.
yeah,
I
it
thought-
was it was interesting.
Mhm.
But didn't have a chance. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jeff. We've been texting, but it sounds like the game last night was pretty good. When you look at the score, it was like 9-7, I think. Orioles won.
Orioles won. Yep, 9-7.
Well, they were up 7-0 in like the first inning, like the bottom of the first or second.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So they got
Top of the
ahead.
second inning. They got up 7-0.
Yeah, they were up ahead. And so I just wasn't really following along. So I wasn't really paying attention. But then Jeff messaged me that, they won. And apparently they had a great time. The people they were around were awesome. So must have been a really good game.
Yeah.
And so
The Royals are a lot better this year than you would
Yes.
think, too. So
Yeah.
it's actually probably fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a competitive game.
well, and they play it's a 3-game series this
Uh-huh.
time. And so the Royals won Friday and the Orioles won yesterday. And I just found out last year from Ben, because again, we didn't really watch baseball a ton, that now it's called a rubber match. I didn't know that it was called that. Do you know? Are you familiar with that?
What do you mean?
So you don't know either. Okay, then
Rubber
makes me feel
match?
better. Yeah, you don't know what I mean. A
I'm
rubber match.
probably the least baseball guy
Right.
here at the station.
Okay. Well, I think it could be on anything. Like you could have a rubber match in bowling too. Anything with a series, because it's the tiebreaker.
Yes.
Today's game is the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I've heard that. Never used it. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody that actually uses
Ben
that.
uses it all the time.
Wonder
So
if
it
that's like
must
the
be
new
a big
slang.
baseball thing. I don't know. So I found that out last year. Ben was telling me what a rubber match was. I only watch football. There's really no series. You don't have rubber matches in
Mhm.
football necessarily. Although this year, our game against Iowa will technically be a rubber match, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could shoehorn it in there.
I
Yeah.
know. So that's where they are. Jeff will be back next week. Hopefully the Orioles win today. I don't know what time. I think the game is at 1.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. So and then they'll be coming back, but he will be back with us on next week. But today at 9:30, we have Lexi coming in, and if you've ever been to Nutrition Authority, especially the South location, she has worked there, and probably listeners who've been in there will recognize her from that, from working at Nutrition Authority. But she'll be coming in. She is in her early 20s. I'm really looking forward to having these conversations with her because she has been immersed in the health and fitness world for a while, and we're going to be talking a lot about that and about the pressures of like the younger generations and stuff, and kind of how she's had to handle and navigate that.
Mhm.
The times she's had to decide to take a step back from certain things because it's not helpful to her mental health. So if you are a listener and you are raising especially young women, this is probably a really good one to listen to because you might not know the pressures that the kids are growing up with now. And Harrison, you and I have talked about this before because you see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't I can't remember where I was reading this off of. Well, not even that. I think I've just heard it over and over and over again. It just makes sense.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure during this first segment, I'll see if I can find some stats from an actual proper
Yeah.
source. But yeah, if you have daughters, like I'm only 25, so obviously I can't relate totally to dads out there. But
But you're
I do
in that
know.
world, and you
Yeah.
have a girlfriend that I'm
Mhm.
assuming is in her early 20s. Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So you
And
kind of
it is thing like because I probably grew up like right when social media really starts taking
Mhm.
over, kind of that split. But I do remember with Instagram, it was like a weird thing, and especially for girls because say you weren't, one of the quote unquote cool kids, even though it doesn't really matter. Okay,
right.
you don't get invited to a party. Not a big deal. You wouldn't know about it back then, but now you see
Yeah.
it on Instagram. You see all
It's
your friends
huge.
talking about it, and you have to be reminded about things that it just beat yourself up on stuff. And it's comparing that you guys always
Yeah.
talk about, like how unhealthy that is, and like
Yes.
it can just make things worse if you're constantly comparing yourself to everybody else. So yeah, and especially for girls, I mean, it just makes sense with the
Mhm.
models, the Photoshop, the filters, and then you
Especially
get this
now.
unrealistic image of
Yeah.
what it's supposed to be,
Yep.
and it's just never the case.
I know. And we've talked about this too with our daughter. She's 21 and she has had to take a break from social media. And it's just so interesting because obviously I use social media. Also, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and even on TikTok. But Instagram, especially for her, and it'll be interesting to get Lexi's perspective on this too, because for me, Instagram is not anything that would mess with my mental health in any way. But I understand that obviously I'm a very different demographic to Instagram than a girl in her 20s. So it's just really interesting when Katie will talk about how she had to delete Instagram off of her phone, and then she would every once in a while re-download it, but then just immediately be inundated with just messages that didn't resonate with her about health and wellness and stuff like that. And so now she has gone completely off of Instagram. She will occasionally access it on her computer. And so to her, that's like a little bit of a different, I don't know, platform to consume the content of Instagram. I don't know. I think there's more of an awareness when she's on her computer versus just mindlessly scrolling on her phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because
So
with the phone, you just carry it, you go to the bathroom, you're still
Right.
you're
Yeah.
just nonstop.
that's true. I'm that way with TikTok sometimes. And it's stupid because half the
You
time
gotta get rid of
I
TikTok.
know.
You gotta do it.
I can't.
Get rid of it. Delete
Can't
it.
do it because there's so many things I really like about TikTok, but then man, it will sometimes be like it's not anything that's like detrimental to my mental health on TikTok by any means, but it's just half the time is stupid stuff. It's just dumb.
Can you tweak the algorithm yourself by saying I'm not interested, I'm interested?
No, you can tweak the algorithm by what you consume. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to
Yeah.
be like aware and
You
not
do.
let the reel catch
Yeah,
you.
you
And
do.
it takes like it's like 1-2 seconds
Yeah.
longer. Like and it just counts that. That's
That's
why
true.
Instagram reels, I need to get off those too. But
Yeah.
like I like those at least because I can be like, don't ever show me this again.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that. I'm sure you probably can, but so the one that really annoys me if I'm like accidentally can't scroll fast enough, and it's usually ads for me. So the Lumi ads that come on, which are just ridiculous. If you
Lumi.
watch TV, you've probably seen them. They're on sports too. But anyway, it's stupid. It's just an ad for like deodorant, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just so invasive. Like they're just everywhere, these commercials. And sometimes I'll be doing something and I'll accidentally have like watched the ad for a little too long because I'm not paying attention, or maybe I'm not even right by my phone and it's just on. And then I'm like, no, I have to run to my phone, scroll off of it. And then I have to be super hyper aware, like immediately scroll off of it when I see it again. But when I do get kind of in a rabbit hole of something I don't want to be served to, then I just go to like things that I do enjoy, like, cat videos, which are always fun. And then I'll just watch one of those like 4 times in a row.
That's
and then
fine.
it
That
gets
can't
me
hurt.
right back
Yeah.
on track.
That won't hurt your mental health.
Right.
Watching cute animals.
Yeah,
Stuff
no.
like that's fine.
But you do have to be super aware because I think that sometimes, and I just had this happen today because I just don't think people know that this happens because we've all had it happen where you're talking about something and then it shows up on your social media and you're just like, how do they know? Like,
Yeah, it's
and
worse.
right.
I hate it. I'm like, stop
It's
listening
so
to me.
creepy. But I just had it happen to me because I've been watching a couple Netflix series that are based in Britain just because they're like based on books and that's just where. And so now Netflix is like British based series. And so I just started another one. It's just like a mystery series, like nothing bad or nefarious about
Right.
it at all. But I was on the treadmill this morning and I was running and I was watching the first episode of this Netflix series. I don't even remember what it's called because I've only gotten one episode in. But then I got off the treadmill, went to go do something. I opened up Instagram and I am being served ads from like British companies. And I was consuming Netflix on my phone also.
That makes sense.
Right. I know. So like, and I was just like, this is weird. And it was very similar to the ads that I normally get. So as a gym owner, and a lot of my content on Instagram is fitness related, I do get a lot of ads for like gym owners. And it was the same thing, but it was a British based company, and the people in it were like British, speaking a British accent.
Yeah, it's just so creepy.
Yeah.
Like
And
I really just get more like in this. I'm just could be totally wrong in this, but I hate it because it does feel like a almost dystopian sometimes when you
Yeah.
have these databases with Instagram, Facebook. Well, even that's the same. That's Meta, same thing, but
Right.
Google, and they just have every interaction you've had online
Yeah.
in this database, and they track it all, and they throw everything they can at you to make more money.
I know.
Feels a little. No, it doesn't feel great.
But I just don't think that everyone quite has that awareness of how targeted marketing can be. and
Especially
how-
kids.
Yeah,
like we're talking
I
about.
know. Kids
Or
especially
adults in
have
this
no
trouble.
idea. So I think that if we can bring awareness to that and be like, this is weird, why am I getting this? But then it totally makes sense because of, but being a business owner, there's tons of, information out there about marketing. I don't think most people understand like the concept of geofencing. So as marketing, you can, and people have had this happen before too, where you're maybe scrolling on your phone. Like this happens when I'm riding in the car. Jeff is driving and maybe I'm
Mhm.
scrolling Facebook as we're driving. And then the closer you get to a business, you start getting served ads for their business. That's because they've geofenced that area. And so when you're in a 5-mile radius of a certain place, then you're going to start getting served those ads. And so I just don't think people really understand. So again, the biggest thing that I like to do when it comes to stuff like this is bringing that awareness to people that like, this is why this is happening. It's not fate. It's not like a coincidence. You are a product to these people. Like, you are definitely being completely marketed to almost all the time if you're on social media.
Yeah. And
So-
you just got to be understanding of it. And
Yeah.
again, that's why, especially with kids, because like we're talking about, I'm 25 years old. I still have a hard time with that. I should be aware.
Yeah.
Like, and if I was 16,
Yeah.
13, 4, I mean, most kids probably get smartphone at 13 years old.
Yeah. I think
They're not thinking about that stuff.
No.
And you can't blame them. Like
Nope.
you got to, as an adult, you got to educate them. But even then, it's going to be hard for them. So
Yeah, and that's
it's a
when
tough
a
one.
lot of their like the things that they believe about themselves are like those seeds are planted during those times. And so
And you
the
don't
more
want your kid wanting to be, one of those TikTokers that you don't like.
I
And then your kid's
know.
just mimicking this TikToker whose whole
Yeah.
bit is going around in public, being a public nuisance for
Right.
clicks and
That's
views.
so true.
It's a real thing.
Oh my gosh, the amount of emails we've gotten from our son's school. It's actually calmed down just a little bit. But yeah, it'll be like there's this TikTok trend going around. One was like kids like destroying bathrooms in their
that
school.
one was insane.
Yeah. And so it was just like, please have a conversation with your kid because we're gonna have to shut the bathrooms down
Yeah,
like
called Look at
during
This
certain
Lick.
times
I think
of the
they
school.
I think they said, look at this lick, as in terms like they stole
Yes,
something.
yeah.
And it's just like,
I know. So that is true.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I know, hopefully once Lexi gets in here, she can
I think
help.
she's behind us right
Oh,
now,
good,
if I'm
good.
correct.
Yeah. Shed some light onto that. So hopefully, if you're listening and you have, kids, this might be something that might be good for you to kind of really understand because kids don't always talk to you about stuff like that, or you don't even think to talk to them about it because I never grew up with social media. I didn't even have my first cell phone till I was in my 20s. And it was a very like bricky phone. Like
Yeah.
it was, not a smartphone by any means. This was in like early 2000s. So I didn't get my first smartphone. I don't know, till much later. So maybe people don't fully understand how different social media looks to their kids than it does to them. So hopefully we can shed some light on that.
Yeah. When did you give your kids smartphones? If you don't mind me asking.
I would have to. So our daughter got a cell phone first, like the slide phone, like
Those are the
not a
best. I missed
smartphone.
mine.
I know.
Sliding out keyboard.
Yeah.
I got
We
so fast
just
at
found
that.
it not that long ago, and of course fired it up, plugged it in to look at some of the pictures that she had on there. So that was kind of funny. So she got that one first, but I feel like Ben was probably 13 when he got his first. I think Ben got a smartphone right away. I don't think we had him on like just a regular flip type phone. So I think he was 13 when he got his phone. I don't know.
Well, good for Ben. He seems like he's got his head on straight.
He is
so
very like
seems
disconnected
responsible.
from his phone. He has Instagram and he has Reddit, but he's not one that is like constantly on his phone the way that like our daughter was. So
Absolutely.
that's a difference in 3 years of an age gap too. So that's kind of crazy. Just kind of how they grew up. So we'll see. I don't know.
We're going to dive into it some more. You got
Yes.
anything else before we go to break? Here?
Nope. Let's go.
Absolutely. We got Lexi up next. We're going to dive more into this conversation right here on Fitness Fanatics. And again, Nicole Essink hosting. No Jeff today, but nonetheless, the show will go on. We will talk to you guys in just a little bit.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Clothes dryer not drying like it should? Could be your dryer vent. Call Bryant for a professional cleaning. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Spring is here, and Acres is offering special financing on select new John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. Visit your nearest Acres store and test drive all the latest John Deere turf equipment and attachments. And for a limited time, with the purchase of a new John Deere mower, get up to $200 to apply to the steel power tool of your choice. From trimmers to chainsaws, gas or electric, Acres is your home for steel products and service. Offer expires April 30, 2024. Subject to approved credit by John Deere Financial.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Nobody goes to McDonald's more than you. Nobody.
No,
every meal,
I
every
agree with that.
every meal.
Every morning you're there.
Every morning goes to McDonald's
every
every day.
I do it. Oh, I go every day.
Is it?
Yeah,
How many
that's what I
times?
mean. That's a lot.
How many? I mean, sometimes
I'm
twice
saying
a
in
day.
the next year I go 9 times. I
That's
go
high
9.
for me. I'm not going 9
Oh,
times
I mean,
to
7
McDonald's.
times
Yeah.
a week. 7
Yeah.
times a week.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
But there's a lot of
every
times
day.
though, but you go more than once a day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm telling you. So it's
But I just
500.
get coffee.
But you go 500 times a year. That's a lot. Of times a year. The most I'm at is 9. I'm at 9. Jake's at 4, and you're at 500.
I say 4 to 5 for myself.
So I said 9. You said
Put
500.
it that way.
It is. Just do the math.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Fitness Fanatics. Am I on? I can barely hear myself.
Just turn your headphones down.
No? Okay.
Well, you sound good.
I believe you.
Figure it out during the break.
I believe you. But welcome back. We have Lexi in studio with us. As I mentioned, if you've been a customer of Nutrition Authority, especially the South location, you've probably seen Lexi in there in the store. But we're going to be talking about kind of your journey. And so what we normally do in this first segment is just like, let us know kind of your background, where you grew up. Did you play sports in high school? Kind of how that transitioned into college and beyond. And so let's just kind of learn about you a little bit.
Lexi, most people do know me from Nutrition Authority, which is great, but I do have a life outside of that, believe it or not. So working at Nutrition Authority definitely opened me up quite a bit, but I am currently in school right now, and surprisingly not in school for health sciences, exercise sciences, nothing like that. Actually going for business and finance, so which is quite exciting for me. I go to SEC right now, and then in the fall I'll start up at UNL, which is quite exciting. I don't do anything sports-wise. I did a lot of sports in high school, but
yeah, what did you do in high school?
I did track and basketball in high school, and then I also rode horses competitively, which not a lot of people knew.
Yeah. Did you grow up here in Nebraska?
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. From Lincoln, born and raised in Lincoln, so nothing too crazy there. Nothing very exciting.
Sometimes we get some small town kids. Like Harrison's a small town kid, so
right?
You just never know.
Right. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, Hickman. I know Hickman, but that's like barely a small town. It's 15 minutes south, so it's not really that small of a town anymore. But yeah, I grew up doing horses, a little bit of sports here and there. Not super serious or anything. I really just did it for fun, just to kind of fill in my time a little bit. I stopped riding horses. Last year, I donated her, so I put all my focus onto health and fitness, starting at Nutrition Authority, and I still do. I still love it so much. I feel like that's kind of my identity. So,
like it or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whether I like it or not, it's kind of my personality at this point, which is good. I started lifting at a very young age, probably about 8th grade. And then going into high school with sports, I still definitely incorporated it. And then once I quit sports, about in the middle of high school, I just kind of kept going with it. I kept lifting. I still wanted to stay very active. And that's where I really fell in love with it, with the lifting, the health, and the nutrition is kind of after that. So.
And so that made sense, for you kind of going into a part-time type job. So yeah, why wouldn't you want to work kind of similar to what goes with your hobbies, which makes sense. Like if you were a sewer, go work at a fabric store. That would be a great place to work.
Exactly. And I didn't expect, if you were to tell me I was going to work at Nutrition Authority beforehand, I was not going to believe you. I was actually, before that, I worked at a couple restaurants serving, and then I worked at Menards as well.
Oh, sure.
So Matt Dow, which I love him so much.
Yeah, we love Matt.
He reached out to me through Instagram one day out of nowhere and was just like, hey, do you want to join our team? And I told him no. I told him no so many times because I knew the money was good at Menards. That was my main focus. So
There's
definitely
so many people that have worked at Menards that I know. It's kind of crazy.
Save big money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a rite of passage, I guess, in Lincoln to have worked
it's an
at
easy,
Menards.
easy job for good money.
Yeah.
So
Smells good in there too all the time.
it's traumatizing now.
It smells
Maybe before
good.
that, I'm traumatized by it.
What does Menards smell like?
Like wood.
Okay. I
bead,
mean,
whatever.
I've been
Whatever they got
into
in there.
Menards, obviously, but yeah, I just don't.
Almost like a hardworking man is what it smells like.
Oh God!
There you go.
Oh boy! Lexi knows our demographic very well. Apparently, listen to her. So okay. Anyway, yeah. So Menards, and then you finally must have given in.
I did.
Yeah.
You convinced me
No,
one
he's
day.
so nice.
I went in just to kind of talk a little bit about it, and I was like, okay, this is a really good opportunity. I don't know why I would say no.
Yeah.
And I was there. Before you knew it, I quit Menards and I was working there, and it was literally a dream job. It was a dream.
Yeah,
still
super fun.
am amazed today. So
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah.
And then so you said you lifted like starting in 8th grade.
Mhm.
So did you do that through school or were you just doing that on your own? Like kind of how did that get started? Because I feel like that's pretty young.
It is.
For
It's
a
very, very
girl
young.
especially.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget like how young that really is
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
My mom and I started working out with a personal trainer.
Mhm.
So her and I would go before school in the mornings and we would work out together. I think it was like twice a week,
Mhm.
maybe. And then I would go on my free time whenever I could throughout the summers. And then obviously through sports and everything, that was a good amount of exercise there. But the actual lifting part was with my mom.
Mhm.
So she was a very big influence on me.
That's really cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So talk about her background then. Like how did you grow up? Like I've said this many times on the show that I grew up with my mom was not physically active. Neither of my parents were. Because I grew up in the 80s. So height of like low fat fads and all that stuff. And like everyone was super skinny. And I say that I knew from a young age, like the parts of my mom's body that she didn't like about herself. Like I know exactly what she didn't like about herself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of formed a lot of how I felt about myself too. Because as you get older, as a girl, you're growing up and you're just like, well, she hates this about her. Do I have that too? And then you start thinking about that way. So how was that for you?
Yeah, I guess that's a really good point. I guess my
Mhm.
mom grew up when she was my age. She had disordered eating herself.
Mhm.
So she's very, very body conscious. Definitely wanted to look a certain way, like most girls do, though.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon thing. And then growing up with her, I noticed she would eat very healthy, very, very clean. She cared about her body. She cared about the way she looked. But I never viewed that as like a negative thing. I
Mhm.
just thought, oh, she wants to be healthy. She
Yeah.
wants to look good, feel good. So I noticed that. I would follow her ways. And then when she wanted to kind of get into the lifting, I was a little bit chubbier in middle school, I won't lie. And
Which is totally normal.
Yeah,
Like
truly,
that's
yeah.
just what happens with girls and boys. Like it's always funny to look back on our kids' pictures and those certain years where you could tell that they were like had gotten a little bit chubby, but then you know that like a growth spurt is coming. Like Ben especially. It's always
I
crazy.
hit the husky
Yep.
section,
Yes.
and then next year I got to 6 foot.
Yep. And then bloop, and even our daughter too. So that is totally normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like I definitely grew horizontally
First.
and then
Yeah.
vertically.
And I
Like
think
I
that's
kind of
how-
grew into it.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think like that's
Right.
totally normal. But I think sometimes it's also, unfortunately, especially for girls, that happens at an age where we're just starting to become very aware of that.
Definitely.
So,
And
yeah.
I would definitely compare myself to the other girls in middle school. I was a little bullied in elementary school and middle school a little bit for it.
Mhm.
I was very different. Like in middle school, I had like purple hair, pink hair, or like definitely different colors of hair. I just wanted to be myself, but I was influenced by a lot of the girls who I just wanted to like me.
Yeah.
So I started working with my mom. I would go I remember going in the basement and doing like HIIT workouts or
Mhm.
Zumba classes in my living room or just crunches in the middle of my room, like
Mhm.
all the time. And I loved it. And maybe was a little bit disordered.
Yeah.
If I
Mhm.
didn't exercise that day, I would definitely beat myself up. And doing that at a very young age isn't super healthy, but it made me who I am today. So I can't complain about it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's really hard. That's a really tough time to navigate because you just don't know. Like for you, it definitely spawned into more of a positive for sure, where you were able to like become a lifter and focus on strength and stuff.
Right.
But
And influence
it's hard.
other girls.
Yeah.
Too.
And you would never want to, like, our daughter is very active now. She's, like I said, she's 21 and she does ferals also and she loves it. And she's looking to get into running a little bit more. She's done a half marathon with us before, but she did not train for it. So it took her forever. So she's looking to redeem herself this year. And,
she's setting herself up well so that the next one.
That's what I told her. I know. That's what I told her. And we're going to run it together, or we're both going to do the same race. And at this point, from what she's telling me she's doing just with some of her treadmill runs, like I'm worried I'm not gonna be able to keep up with her this time, because we didn't stay together when we did the Lincoln half in 2021. She was like way behind us. And so but it's so tough, but it's also really cool to see her evolution in that. And so now it's like everything she does, it's because she is empowered by it. So
it's a good feeling. It's rewarding. Whenever you do see progress and improvement, it's a very rewarding experience.
Yeah. Yep. It is.
Mhm.
So I think something good can come out of it, even though maybe it stems from insecurity. But as long as, like you said, you grew up in a healthy, like eating healthy food. So that helps a lot. Cause I think like when I was growing up, we did not eat healthy at all. I grew up really low income. So a lot of our food was like Hamburger Helper, mac and cheese, pizza boats, which were like, pizza boat, like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
I love those.
Yeah,
those are still good. On a cheat day.
Eat those today.
Like a hot dog bun with
the Lunchable
topped
bags.
pizza. No, I didn't even have Lunchables. First of all, I'm too old. I did not grow up with Lunchables.
Overrated. Those things were not good.
Oh, some of them are good. I
mean,
sometimes
there's always one item on that tray that you're like, I'm not sure about.
That's true. My hot take on Lunchables. My favorite one, it's really hard to find, is the ham and Swiss cheese one, which sounds I know it sounds.
I didn't even know they had that.
You can only find them at like gas stations, which is like red flag, like
huge no bueno there.
So, and I mean, when I say Lunchables, I don't eat them. I eat them maybe like 4 times a year. So I just did stop at a gas station today and I saw one and I was like, dang it. I'm not going to eat it, but
it's probably one of those things where it's like, you remember it being so good. Like the pizza one, that was my favorite. And I bet if I had it today, I'd be like, this is garbage.
I know. The ham and Swiss ones are not bad, but again, not telling anybody you should eat Lunchables.
They'll say 100% freshness guaranteed.
No.
13 grams of protein.
13 grams of protein is
bad.
not bad. Like the macros of them, you can fit it in like in an emergency.
That's
like,
true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Right.
And then you throw on the
usually
Oreos in there too. A couple Oreos.
Yeah, I don't
nice
get
balance.
the one with the Oreos. It's just the meat and the cheese and the crackers. That's it. So to me, the Oreo is a little. I don't do that one. So
I mean, that one's really not that bad.
I digress.
Just some cheese, meat, and crackers.
Yeah, I know. It's true. But I didn't grow up with Lunchables. So we grew up with like typical like I don't know, like food stamp type foods is what we grew up with. And this was in the 80s. So it was like very limited. And so I had gone through the similar, like with you, except my content I was consuming was through magazines because we didn't have social media or YouTube. Like you were probably looking up like YouTube videos on stuff. Right.
Oh yeah.
Workouts on YouTube. I'm looking at like magazines, like Self magazine, and it'd be like 5 moves for a flat stomach or whatever. And so I'd be in my room doing those too. But I also then would go out and eat, Hamburger Helper for dinner or whatever. So I think for you, it was a good balance where you were getting into that, but you were also surrounded by like healthy food.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes is hard for kids who are athletic or have that. Maybe they're not super competitive. Like I was not. So I didn't play group sports, but I am athletic. And it took me a long time to figure out the difference between that. But if you're in a house where that's really not a priority, that can be hard. And I think that's where sometimes it sets up those like disordered type eating. Yeah.
Easily, because you're influenced, you're surrounded by it. So it's like,
and
this
you
is
don't
normal.
have control.
This is a normal thing. Like I have to look in a certain way. I have to eat a certain way. If you're surrounded by certain people at school, like to be liked, you have to look a certain way. It consumes you a little bit on a day-to-day basis.
And you can just kind of be torn in a bunch of different directions as a kid, as a teenager.
And for sure.
Yeah. Especially that like 8th grade, 9th grade. So like 8th grade is like, how old are you when you're in 8th grade?
Oh my gosh. 14, 13, maybe?
Yeah, I think I was 14, 13. I was the oldest in my class though. So I think I was like 15.
Yeah. So
self-conscious years are usually around
you're
there.
just starting
you're growing up. And you think you're like super mature and independent and all grown up,
you can
but you're
make your own
not.
decisions.
Yep.
But you cannot.
Yep. And I was super confident. Like, don't get me wrong, I was the most confident girl you could ever meet. I didn't care what anybody thought.
Which is probably why you got bullied, because that's threatening to other girls.
It is. Yeah. I just wanted to be liked at the end of the day. So I would do anything in my power to be liked and to stand out. Like, I didn't care what I had to do.
Right.
But then it consumed me a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, it pros and cons
backfires.
once again.
I don't think, because when I was growing up, I don't remember it being that way, but I remember my daughter. So, Lexi, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you were, I knew you were right around the same age as our daughter, but I couldn't remember if you were like a year older or younger. You're a year younger than her. When she was in like second grade, I remember the teacher sending an email and saying that she had to keep all of the girls back during recess so they could have a talk about how to be good friends. Like, I think
we had those so many times.
Yes.
So many times. Oh, girls are so mean.
I know.
Girls are so
that
mean.
was not my experience growing up, which I did grow up in a very small town. So I think that helped also. Like, I had 98 people in my graduating class. So like, I went to preschool with most of the people that I graduated with, and bullying definitely was a thing, but it was more boys bullying the other boys.
Okay.
I didn't really experience bullying, even though, like I said, I was definitely low income and wasn't popular, wasn't in a lot of things, couldn't go to stuff because I lived out in the country. And so I never experienced that. But I think a lot of people don't understand how mean girls can be now.
Sometimes, yeah. So I remember a girl told me if I couldn't wrap my fingers around my wrist that I was fat.
Oh, yeah.
And that like really hit me. I was like, dang, I can't do that. Like, I got short fingers. That's
Right.
why. That's probably what my
I'm a
problem
small
was.
person.
So that definitely influenced me. And then with like the colored hair, people would like call me like booger hair, or
Oh my gosh.
when I had a red hair, they would call me something. I don't know, just like little nicknames, but I thought I
Yeah.
just laughed at it. I just
Right.
laughed it off. That was my coping mechanism. And you'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
booger hair. That's me. That's me.
So
No big
clever.
deal. So
Yeah. So it's definitely different just in our 20-year age gap.
that's
gap,
crazy.
22
That
years.
really is crazy.
I
yeah.
know it is. All right. Well, we'll go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about sports and just kind of how you feel about like professional sports, stuff like that, like we normally do. And then we'll get back into the big stuff at the top of the hour.
What's your radon level at home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating, 467-1111 for radon testing and mitigation.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. You can get diesel anywhere, but what about Atomic Diesel? That comes from Stern. Atomic Diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with Atomic Diesel. Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how Atomic Diesel and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity. Grab a free burger and beer at LA Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game tailgate. Meet the LA Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. LA Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours.
And our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Women may be complicated, but I make sure buying jewelry isn't. Your gal has a style, and you can figure this out. Is she more of a classic necklace kind of gal, or does she rock the boho chic vibe with layers of delicate bracelets? This is crucial intel. Not trusting your intel? Stop in the store and we'll sort out the details. I promise to make this super easy. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back. Welcome back into Fitness Fanatics, and we're just continuing our conversation here with Lexi. This is our segment where we kind of pivot to sports just a little bit because it's our little short segment. So
Jeff, I need you.
I know. I'm sorry. It's been 2 weeks without Bears talk.
I have the draft. Like, am I going to see him?
No, you're not going to see him before the draft. I mean, you'll talk about it next week.
Sure.
We'll talk about it next week too. But so I kind of talked to you about like professional sports that you watch, and you said you're not a huge sports
watcher.
Not
a ton. Like TV overall, I don't watch a ton of.
So you don't like follow any sports, basketball, baseball, football?
Not really. I watch a little bit like at work or with my dad and my brother love sports.
Yeah.
So when I'm there with them, I'm forced into it. I have no option
but
to talk about it.
Yeah.
So football, they love the Broncos. That's their team. Chiefs, obviously we love to, but it's kind of it's two sides of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
But I kind of grew up around it. So it's not like my favorite thing. My mom's the same way. Like she can talk sports, but it's not like she's
that's how I am.
A master in it. But
I love watching it, but it doesn't stick with me. It'll just like fall right out of my brain after the game's over. Like I don't remember. I don't even know who we lost to, who the Packers lost to in the playoffs. I'd have to really think about it. I know we beat the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And then
was it the
I don't know.
Chiefs?
Yeah, just bloops right out of my brain.
No, it wouldn't have been the Chiefs.
Just
it would have been. Who did you guys lose to?
All you know is that you lost.
I watched the game.
I took a lot of joy in it. I should remember.
I don't know.
402-464-5685.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody knows, but I like it when it's on, but I don't. It doesn't stick with me. It's fine.
Like I like going to Husker games.
Yeah.
Even though we're not super awesome and super good at the sport.
We will be this year.
I still like going and watching, and I know what's going on. Like when I do sit there and watch it, like high school, I actually knew what was going on versus a lot of the other girls were just kind of like, yeah,
the Lion. What?
I think so, right?
The Lions.
We played in our own division for the playoffs.
Well, you won the first round.
I don't know. See, I don't even know.
Because you guys got in the wild card.
Oh, okay. That could be. I don't know.
I'm distracting you guys.
I know. Anyway, but you said you do like the like the concept of the sport.
I do.
Yeah. So
I do.
You watch like documentaries on sports.
Yes,
Yeah.
I watch documentaries on the sports, any sort of like Netflix series.
Yeah.
Like The Quarterback was really good, and then I watched. I'm not gonna remember what it was called.
I think
But-
HBO has the Hard Knocks one, right? That one's pretty good, I think. But yeah, we like watching those too.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They're
So the
really
one,
good.
the quarterback one, was that the one with Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kirk
See, I know some
Cousins.
things.
Yes.
I know.
See, you know.
Yeah, we watched that briefly. Yeah.
So that taught me a lot about like what the
Yeah.
player view
Mhm.
of it is. I mean, watching it's great and like knowing like, oh, they won, they lost, but once you view it, they're actual humans.
The behind the scenes
Yes,
and everything
I'm
that
like,
goes into
that's
it.
really cool. They are really hardworking people. That's an eye opener
I
there.
know. It
Eye
is.
opener.
Probably not quite worth what they get paid, but
No,
they still work pretty hard.
and they still get paid quite a bit of money.
I know.
They
Yeah.
still
agree.
do.
I do like watching those kind of documentaries too. And it's also, I always try to like bring it back to our business at Farrell's and stuff, and how, and I talked about this last week too, about how when you watch stuff like that, you realize how if you can just train like an athlete, even though you're not necessarily if you're not a professional athlete, you're not getting paid for it, but like those athletes, Kirk Cousins isn't like consuming TikTok and being like, oh, this is the next new trend. This is what I need to do. I need to start like doing this instead. Like, oh, I shouldn't be
Right. He's focused on
lifting
what
heavy.
works
I
with
should
him.
be right. He's not flip-flopping back and forth between 100 different things. You do one thing and you get really good at it, and then you just keep staying good at it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's how I always like to relate those, when you can see that, same thing with like Tom Brady. He's not changing up his meal plan every 3 months because there's a new fad out. He knows what he needs to do for performance, and he sticks with it, which I always think we could always benefit from scaling down what those professional athletes do, scale it down to our lives. And I think that helps
Easily.
sometimes.
Not making it so complex. I feel like people ask like, Kirk Cousins, what's your workout plan? What's your meal plan? And then he just says the basic stuff, and it's like, oh,
yeah. Well,
I thought it
that's
was
not
gonna be something
exciting.
extreme. Yeah, well,
That's not marketable.
Kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's kind of the point. It's not supposed to be exciting and
So
different and
true.
unique.
Yeah. So that I'm kind of there too. But all right. Well, we will go to break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more health and fitness again. So we will be right back. 93.7 The Ticket.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and actively involved in our community. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Property tax relief is important to every family, and I will continue to deliver more property tax relief to working families. This is Carolyn Bosin, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Bosin for Legislature.
Nutrition Authority invites you to save 35 to 75% off at the Spring Mega Sale. We're taking our better than internet prices and cutting them even deeper, bringing you the biggest sale of the season. Monday, April 15th through Saturday, April 20th, the Spring Mega Sale is on at Nutrition Authority. For location information, check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
When you're in New York, Nick, in New York, I mean, you're talking about, you see mafioso types. You go into a restaurant and you would literally eat, hey, come on over here. You know, they I don't know how to say it. I don't got the accent, but they would say, come, Strick, come here, come over. Have a drink on me. And what are you going to do? Say no?
You not say
you
no
don't
to that?
say no to the drink. You don't say no.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
Welcome back to Fitness Fanatics. We are going to continue our conversation with Lexi here. If you're watching on the stream, she was victim to the Rubik's Cube of our headsets. They're pretty tricky.
Third person today.
I know they are.
Honored. I'm honored.
I notoriously tell our members that they're not special, but meaning like if there's something that's holding you back, like that doesn't make you special. It makes you totally normal. So it's like you just had a you're not special moment. Like, oh, you had a hard time getting your headset on. That does not make you special.
Good.
That
You're
makes you
part
normal.
of the team.
Yeah. One time,
one of
I
us.
almost gave myself a black eye with the headset. It hit me right in the nose. It hurt so bad.
I was so sad. I wanted to get a clip of it, but it didn't have you on camera.
No.
Oh my gosh. That sounds
It
like your
hurt.
luck.
My
That
eyes
sounds
were
like your luck.
watering for like the whole first segment. I thought I was going to have, sometimes you hit your nose. I thought I was going to have a black eye from it, but I did not. So that does not make you special. You've been initiated now.
And it could have been a black eye. So
I know.
it doesn't feel as
It
cool
could have
anymore.
slipped right off and just bashed you in the head.
Could have.
Yeah. So anyway, we kind of get off topic sometimes here, but if you're watching, you could definitely watch on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
X, Allo 961.
I just still have a hard time calling it X. I don't know.
I think it's the URL still has Twitter in it.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
I think
so
both is fair.
if you ever want to watch people struggling to get their headsets on, you got to watch our streams so you can see people struggle to get their headsets on.
But
But
a little bit.
yeah. Make a little montage one of these days. So let's get back on track here, kind of talking about kind of your perspective. That's kind of what we wanted to bring today. That Gen Z perspective of health and wellness and stuff like that. So kind of talk about that. Like, what have you seen? And I think that what you do, like you're immersed in like your fitness journey, but also like working at Nutrition Authority. I'm sure you work with I know you've worked with people of all ages. So you have a really good perspective where you're like in what's happening now to people growing up, but you also see how older generations kind of navigate the same thing.
Yeah.
So what is some of the things that you've seen just in the last couple of years, kind of the changes or with kind of your generation and their like focus on or aspect of fitness?
Yeah. So I think it's very trendy right now to go to the gym
Mhm.
through social media, through TikTok, even going to the gym and seeing results and just making it kind of as a daily routine, a daily habit. It's a thing which I love seeing. I like seeing more people get into the gym. I like seeing especially more girls get into the gym. A lot of the girls have a lot of motivation and they have a lot of drive to just kind of be out there. It's definitely more trendy to be lifting rather than just being cardio bunny and just doing straight cardio, which I love seeing. The difference between a Gen Z and the older generation is definitely the obsession. I feel like it's a lot more of an obsession with my age group. Just with, I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's the comparison from body image, but if I meet with someone younger who's my age, I feel like we can relate more just with it being a really big focus and a really big part of our life, which is awesome because when you get results, you feel very confident, you feel very rewarded for what you have. But if you mess up or if you have a bad day, it brings you down and it almost kind of ruins your day and it determines if you're gonna have a good day or a bad day. But with the older generation, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a side hobby. It's something I enjoy and I know it's healthy for me, so I'm gonna add it in whenever I can. If I can't get to the gym, that's okay. If I have a bad day or if I have a bad meal, I can move on really easily. Maybe I'm not seeing the Gen Zs that go through that, but I feel like a lot of the Gen Zs, they do strive for perfection, and that's kind of like they have to be perfect. They have to work out every single day, and if they don't, someone's going to notice. They're not worthy enough. They're not valued, which is okay. You know, there's some pros in that. I do still love seeing the motivation and the drive that the young people have, but I also don't. I wish it wasn't so obsessive.
Yeah, you're not out
sometimes.
here like discouraging people your
No,
age from
no.
exercise. But
Mhm.
I see this with our daughter too, because she can definitely be very all or nothing when it comes to that. So if she's in a really good groove, like everything falls into place. But yeah, if she has that one bad day, and it's not necessarily one. So our daughter is very regimented in her like sleep schedule. So if she stays up late, like we watch Survivor on Wednesdays, and that always throws off her schedule. Like she's always trying to skip her Thursday workout, but it's also upper body, which she does not want to skip that either. So it's very complicated for her and her brain because she's like, she's up late. But I think the biggest thing with her, she's all or nothing. So then once something happens and she gets derailed a little bit, maybe she misses a couple workouts, then she will kind of not really fall off of the workout, but I definitely see how her like nutrition will fall off a little bit, and then it takes her a couple weeks to get back on track.
Easily. And I can say that I've experienced the same exact thing.
And it happens for us too. Like when I say us, I'm talking about the older generation. It happens to us too. But yeah, we just, I think, have so much going on that we're kind of always juggling, and just sometimes we lose the fitness ball. You know what I mean?
Right. And
And
it's
it
okay.
takes
It's
a
okay with
while,
you.
right, to bring it back. But I just don't, like you said, yeah, I don't think that obsession is there as much. The other thing I've noticed with our daughter, because and I'm this way too, and she's probably partly my fault that she's this way. It's not a bad thing by any means, but the way that fitness trackers kind of contribute to that, because she has a Garmin, and she gets like, she can earn badges for certain activities and stuff like that. And I think that for her, and maybe for that your generation, that can kind of cause that like obsession a little
Yes,
bit.
easily. Yeah. And I never ever considered that for a while, but honestly, just recently I realized how fixated I am on the numbers. Like if I don't meet my step goal, it's a bad day. If I don't meet my move goal, it's a bad day. And then I just beat myself up, or the next day I have to get double the amount of calories in, which is unhealthy, I will have to say. Or even with the Whoop band. So I know Dow has a Whoop band, and it gives you so much information, and I would love having the information, but I know I would get very fixated on it and
Mhm.
obsess over it. And if it tells me, oh, you got a bad sleep, you didn't get enough REM cycle sleep or something, then I'd be like, oh, I'm tired. I'm tired. I am
So
not going to be in a good
true.
mood today. I didn't get enough sleep. My whoop told me I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm not going to be nice to anybody. It's almost like you can use it as an excuse
so
to be in a
true.
bad mood. So
Yes.
some days I don't wear my watch just so I'm just going to have a good day. I'm just going to live. I'm going to do what I like. I'm not going to be deciding if it's a good day or a bad day depending on my watch move.
That's so true. Like
I didn't think about that.
Can get into that mode also. I have an Aura ring, which is similar to Whoop. It's a little more, Whoop is recovery based too. But yeah, I'm currently in the middle of a spiral right now because I'm on 6 weeks where I have not been earning my recovery crown and I'm trying so hard. So
and all you want
so
is
stupid.
the recovery crown.
I know, it's so dumb. So the Aura ring tracks your activity. It's less of an activity tracker, but it will track your activity. It also tracks your sleep and your recovery. And the recovery is it's tied into your heart rate variability, how low your heart rate gets when you're sleeping, because your recovery is better if you can get, consistently a lower heart rate while you sleep. Yeah. It measures your oxygen levels while you're sleeping. So it can be very helpful. There are times where it is extremely intuitive. It will be like, your sleep was off. Did you eat too close to your bedtime? And I'll be like, dang it, I did, but I also had to eat. I'm not ever going to not eat because I don't want to get this high score. And on your Aura ring, it's 85 is your recoveries where you get this crown. But I definitely can get into that too. And our daughter does too, because she wears her Garmin and it tells her how she sleeps. And every morning we're both kind of comparing our sleep.
Yep. And going through it. I feel like that's one of my most used apps is the fitness app or the health app. And I realized that when you say you compare it to what you normally have.
Yeah.
If I compare my fitness in the summer or in a nicer weather to when I'm in the wintertime, it's going to be so much lower because I can't get my steps and I can't be outside. I can't be as active. I'm not as motivated, honestly, like most people are. So I'm like, I could do it in the summer. Why can't I do it now? So then I'm like, I wish I was able to kind of get to that level.
Yeah.
I really can't.
But
it's crazy cold
also
outside.
important to step back and realize that. And I do think that's part of the reason my recovery has been so low. I think it happens when the seasons are changing. And I think for me, because I'm in my 40s, it also tracks your body temperature. And so right now we're in that weird limbo. So when I'm sleeping, I sleep better in the winter, obviously when it's a lot cooler. And so right now, you have to should we turn the air on? It's too hot in the house. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Open a window, but it's 80 degrees.
So
I'm
that is
sweating
true.
now.
I do have to step back sometimes. But the thing is, statistics show or studies show that these fitness trackers actually don't improve. Most people, it does not improve their health.
Really?
Because you're not actually doing anything to improve it. It's just giving you the data
information.
Right. But people don't actually apply that to see the improvements. So statistically, people who wear a Whoop band or an Aura ring or Apple Watch, whatever, they're not healthier necessarily.
It's just seeing the number.
Yeah, it's just making you more obsessive.
Change it to what you normally have, whether that's a 300 move goal or a 700 million.
I always
move
hated
goal.
that about the Apple because you can just change your move goal and close your ring.
Yeah.
Truly. I know.
I mean, if it's 100, if I'm under or over 100, I'm not going to be like, yes.
I know. Sweet. I know. It's so, but I do think that maybe is part of it. Cause like I said, our daughter and her Garmin, it gives her she can set goals for the month. And so sometimes she's been trying real hard to get this yoga goal, this yoga badge, and she just can't do it. She just can't fit it into her schedule, but she still sees it as her goal. And she's like, dang it, I didn't do it again. I'm like, well, how many times did you do yoga? 2. Well, you have to do it 15 times.
Do a little bit more than that.
Right.
It's cool that she's doing it though, but the fact that she's even doing it and doing it twice a week, that's awesome. Cool, strive for a goal, but also
not twice a week, it's a month. So she's not really trying that hard, but
still there.
But then she's beating herself up about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course she is. Of course, as most people do.
Yes.
And I'm like, dang, I only got 700 today for my move goal. And it's you got 700.
I know.
When the average person is maybe getting 200,
Yeah. That is so true.
Half goal is awesome, but also step back and look at reality a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
That is true. So you see kind of that obsession. What are the pros and cons? Are you seeing any positives to that though too? With your generation?
I say so. Yeah. Absolutely. A normal person, just like out of all of America. Like they're not super concerned about their health or their weight or if they're getting a workout in or not. But for the younger generation, since it is kind of a trendy thing, going to the gym every day is a normal thing, which I love. Like that's very healthy. It's mentally healthy. It benefits you long term and short term. It's a great habit to develop, is what I say. So not beating yourself up for it is definitely easier said than done.
Yeah.
But also having those goals and making it a normal thing to have it as a habit is healthy. Like it's at the end of the day, it's very, very good for you. You can't deny that.
I think it's a matter of balancing what's realistic. So you probably see that a
Yep.
lot. Like, I mean, have you had to have conversations with the people where you're like,
Absolutely.
you need to probably dial it back a little bit.
Absolutely.
What you're doing is not realistic with what you're, like what you want is not realistic with what you're
Yeah,
doing.
absolutely.
And that's a big thing that I see too of all ages, where like your effort is not lining up with your expectations.
Yes.
And sometimes your expectations are just too high.
Yeah,
And I
so you
think
gotta
that's
kinda lower 'em
probably
a
the
little
case
bit.
that you see a little bit more with your age group, where I see where my generation, we're a little more focused on weight loss, mostly because as you get older, you're going to see this with your generation too. The negative thing is you're always going to be competing with that younger version of yourself. So if you get into your 30s, you're going to look back at pictures of yourself in your 20s and you're just going to be like, man, I wish I could just get back to that. But the reality is you had 75% less stuff on your plate at that time.
Yes. Yeah, life changes.
Right.
Priorities are going to change.
Yes.
That's a part of
So
it.
it's like you can be putting in 100% effort, but if your expectation is 150%, you're never going to be happy with where you're at.
Truly.
I know. So what
Truly.
would be your advice like for your generation kind of thinking about that going forward? Because like I
Yeah.
said, you've seen both sides.
I have, yeah. I always tell people, and I'm like, you can have goals, absolutely, but at the end of the day, you want them to be permanent, right? So be realistic, make it sustainable. I have some girls that come in or some girls and boys that come in and they're like, I'm working out every single day for an hour and a half, cardio, lifting. I'm like, that is awesome. But what are you going to do when you're not able to go into the gym for an hour and a half? You know, or what if you have a family? What if something happens with your job and you have to work more? You have to kind of be realistic and have that balance still, whether that's 3 times a week, maybe it's 4 times a week, maybe it's just an hour. Sometimes you get more results when you have a little bit more leniency with yourself and you're able to just kind of have those smaller sections throughout the week. So not obsessing over that part for sure. Having just more fun with it too.
Yeah.
That always makes it long term. I remember I would do in my basement like really weird HIIT workouts on the elliptical with ab workouts. And it worked because it was at home. I wasn't able to do anything else, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it long term, which is why I started incorporating more of the strength training and the Zumba I would do a lot because I knew I actually enjoyed it. I have a lot of people that come to me that they're like, I'm running, I'm doing this. And I'm like, do you even enjoy that?
Yeah.
Then why are you going to do it in 2 months?
Right.
Like, that's not going to work out very well.
Yeah.
So do something that you love, whether that's strength training, HIIT workouts, maybe it's group classes, maybe you work out alone. Like, figure out what you enjoy, find the times that you are able to do it, and kind of go from there. Like, you don't got to slam yourself all at one time because at the end of the day, that's not going to be good long term at all. So, and I always like to tell people, and I'm like, people are going to realize the easy part is the fitness and the physical side of things and be able to get to the gym. But once you start incorporating the nutrition, that's where it kind of does get tricky because you're doing it 3 times a day. It's hard to make it a routine and make it a habit because it's a completely different side of the physical things. So
that is true. The nutrition is definitely the hardest. I think that's pretty much across the board for everybody.
Yes, easily. And it affects a lot more, I feel like the
really
mental
does.
sides, it really does affect the physical side, sometimes the emotional side, and not comparing yourself to somebody else. Because sometimes people can eat fast food maybe twice a week and be okay. Like everyone's just, their bodies are going to react so differently. So I never ever want to compare somebody's nutrition or macros to somebody else's because I know it's going to be very different, very personalized to what they can handle, what their activity level is, how their mental state is. It's going to fluctuate a ton.
Yeah. And you probably see this a lot too with your kind of demographic, it's those what I eat in a day on social media are so popular.
Yes, I see that a lot. And even I kind of get into the caught, like, I'm like, oh, why can't I just do that?
I know.
A lot of those aren't realistic.
Right.
Truly. I'm going to have a granola bar for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and maybe a half a sandwich for dinner. No way. No one's eating that and being like, okay,
I'm satisfied.
That is so, let me do it again tomorrow. There's no way. Like, there's gonna have filling meals. There's gonna have sometimes you don't have time for a meal. Sometimes you're gonna have a bigger, but it's gonna fluctuate a ton. And having a set in stone breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the best thing that you can do for yourself. But that doesn't mean they got to be perfect every single day.
And it's not what works for, like, you and I could eat the same exact thing. We could do the same exact workouts for 6, 8, 10 weeks. And we would still have different results. It's not like at the end of that cycle, we would look exactly the same.
Truly.
Like, we're just very different, just in so many ways. Like our stress loads are different and our body composition is different. Our heights are different. Like, there's so many things that are different that I think sometimes, especially the younger generation, thinks that, like, okay, all I need to do is eat like this. Well, the problem is that's just what Harrison and I were talking about the first segment. The more you consume that, the more you're getting served that. So then that becomes your reality, that, like, this is how you should be. And it's really hard to break that cycle.
Yeah. And then it kind of turns into the disordered eating patterns, whether that's, okay, I had a bad meal this time, I'm not going to eat for the next 12 hours, 24 hours. Or sometimes it's, I messed up this one meal, I'm just going to go all in and just plow as much food as I possibly can.
Right.
Because I already messed up today. I might as well just have a bad day.
I think that happens so
much. It's a lot of those all or nothing mentalities, which is hard to break, but it's a very common thing. Like, I suffer from it. I know a lot of girls suffer from it. I'm guessing a lot of men suffer through it too. Like, it's very common.
We're not special, right?
We're not special.
Not
Another
make us
moment
special.
of that. Yeah.
Struggling with nutrition and seeing other people's meals and stuff. And for me too, sometimes, like, even influencers that I follow that I really resonate with their message. And I do think there's a place for the what I eat, maybe not what I eat in a day, but like meal ideas probably would be a healthier way to look at it. Because in the reality, they did not just wake up and just say, okay, I didn't know what I'm going to eat today, and this is what I happen to eat. It's curated. They curated that. Yeah.
Easily. It's like, oh, today's my what I need today. I got to eat everything that looks so good.
The very first red flag should be if the what I eat in a day starts on them waking up out of bed like this.
After they set up the tripod.
Makeup on and everything.
Like, pulling back the covers and getting out of bed. Like,
and then as they're in this like nice pajama set, they put on their slippers. I don't got time for that.
They already got out of bed once and set up their phone and hit record and got back into bed.
Pretend they were sleeping.
Pretended to wake
up, do a fake yawn. It's probably 11 a.m. too, if we're being honest.
Went back to their phone, stopped recording, edited out all the before and after, so it looked just like, to me, that is always
maybe
like
do a couple retakes.
Red flag. I know. Such the red flag. But then you can also get it on the other end, where you have someone who's like super fit, they're very thin, but you see what they're eating in a day and they're eating a ton. Like, they're able to eat so much, and it's like healthy, but they're eating
a lot
like
of food.
Yeah, they're just eating high volume food, and you're just like, wow. But the reality is that we're not the same as that person. Our genetics are not the same. Our hormones are not the same. Our everything isn't the same. And you're also not seeing the other side of it. Like, how much are they exercising? Are they exercising a ton? Or are they just a genetically thin person and they can just
maybe they're trying to gain weight. Maybe they do struggle with not eating enough.
Yeah.
Like different problems with
so
everybody.
True. And it's just a snapshot. So I think that can be very deceiving for people. And it can be really easy if you're already in a vulnerable place and you're already feeling self-conscious or kind of feeling bad about yourself. You can kind of spiral with that. I think that happens.
I think sometimes
to everybody.
The social media side, I think sometimes it can be very beneficial with education, getting ideas, maybe a little bit of motivation. I always like good quotes, always motivate me. But when it gets to the other side where you're just comparing yourself to, why can't I be like that? Why can't I do that?
Yeah.
I tried this and it didn't work for me. And it makes you really mean to yourself. And it's not healthy for you whatsoever. So sure, use the social media as you please and educate yourself. I think that's always a great way to go about things. That's how I got super good at what I do, is I just educated myself like crazy. I wanted to learn. I wanted to get really good at what I was doing. So I just taught myself from what I knew. And I took it and ran with it. But
well, let's go ahead and go to break real quick. And then when we come back, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Because I want to talk about your relationship to social media and kind of compare that to like my daughters and then kind of mine too. But so we'll kind of talk about that in the next segment. So we'll go to break.
Hi, it's Tom and Mike from Husker Rewind. And did you know that people who are represented by an attorney are often compensated up to 3 times more than someone who is not?
Friedman Law has been helping injured people for over 60 years. It's all they do. If you're ever seriously injured in an accident, call Friedman Law at 402-476-1093.
Friedman Law is a family firm that works hard for Nebraska families just like yours.
So if you're ever injured on the job or in a crash, contact Friedman Law at friedmanlaw.com.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the Bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. for the Malone Radio Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Don't miss the opportunity to learn about the Malone Community Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln and the surrounding area. It's the Malone Radio Show with Executive Director John Goodwin and Sports Director Mike Hunter every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes and family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding
and tailgating tradition. Burnouts, beer, and barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time, and you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back. Fitness Fanatics, 93.7 The Ticket. We got our mid-size segment here with Lexi, and we're going to talk about we've had an hour here of kind of getting to know you and listening to your perspective, and you definitely I always love talking to you. We've had lots of conversations, and it's just always really easy and fun. Good. Yeah, I love talking to you about fitness. I think we have a lot of the same thoughts and stuff, but I do want to talk about kind of how immersing yourself in that world, how it's affected your mental health, because I know you've had some struggles kind of with your mental health and your fitness, and like what are some of your strategies that you've used to help overcome that?
So I would say before working at Nutrition Authority, I started a fitness account, which I just posted a lot of meal ideas, workouts, my goals, my journey, all that.
Now, did you start that just for yourself, or were you thinking like, I wonder if this could go somewhere? Could I, you know what I mean? Like, were you looking for a Gymshark DM at some point? I feel like that's your...
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I just got really influenced by everybody else around me because it's kind of a trend to have a fitness account and to post your goals and your journey. That's a very big thing. So I kind of was like, let me hop on the wagon. Let's see where this goes. Never expected it to blow up or to get any like sponsorships. I was really just doing it for myself.
Because sometimes people do that 100%. Right. That's their intent. And I think that's when it gets a little wonky too.
Yes, easily. And I knew for my age that I knew a lot more than most people. So I kind of wanted to spread that knowledge, share what I knew, and to help other people was really my goal. And that's what I did. That's truly what I did. And that's kind of what got me into Nutrition Authority, which was great. And then last year, I got a ton of results. So it was a lot of validation, posting and being super lean. And I finally felt like super confident with where I was at with Nutrition Authority, very successful there, successful physically and on social media. I was getting very, very noticed. So it definitely kind of became my personality, which was great. I soaked it all in. But little backstory, binge eating has definitely been a huge factor with what I've been through. Binge eating in middle school, binge eating throughout high school, and then even still today is a really big struggle for me. But I will say last year, it kind of just stopped just with education, learning about the psychology behind food, knowing so much about what the food does, each macromolecule, and honestly, just my self-esteem. My self-esteem was so high. I didn't suffer through a lot of depression or anxiety. So I just felt so clear-minded and very motivated to heal that part of me. And I feel like I just stopped binge eating. It felt very easy to do, which led me to a lot of results. I felt very, very good. But once I kind of gotten back into the habit of the binge eating, I felt like a complete failure. And I thought everything was destroyed. So I stopped posting on social media because I thought I lost all my value. Even my value at work kind of went down too, just because
imposter syndrome, as they call it.
Exactly. Yes. I was like, I can't get my stuff together. Like, why would I help these girls if I can't do what preach what I, like practice what I preach is what I always used to say. So I kind of stepped back from social media. I tried to update like my followers as much as I could, just so I wasn't just falling off the planet out of nowhere. So I would be honest and open and vulnerable to show people like I'm human. I'm gonna mess up. But the binge eating kind of continued all throughout probably August through right now. It's just been a really hard battle. And I knew consuming it and being so fixated on what I looked like at work and what I looked like through social media. Because at the end of the day, social media is all about what you look like. If you don't look a certain way on the fitness side of things, you're not going to get noticed. You're not going to get likes. You're not going to get recognized. You're not going to get validation. And part of me knew that was coming, but part of me didn't think it was going to last this long. So I completely stopped going on social media, just so I wasn't so consumed by what my followers were thinking, what who who was succeeding, who wasn't succeeding.
Or like sometimes with social media too, I've noticed that like out of the blue, something that you posted could have posted like 4 months ago starts getting traction again.
Yeah.
And then you're just like,
Yes.
why can't I be that person anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would always like go through my old posts because I thought it would be motivation for myself, which in a way it is. I would post a lot of good quotes. What I was kind of like a little journal for me with where I was at in life. So looking back on those was kind of nice. But looking at what I look like in those moments, I really just beat myself up, and I didn't like where I was at now. When in reality, you have to really get any sort of results and to make it a fun journey is that you have to appreciate with where you are now and accept with where you are now and not be so hurtful to yourself.
Well, and it was probably really hard for you too, because you know that you were in a good place then. Because I think sometimes people can get results, but they're doing it in a very unsustainable and unhealthy way. And so you're looking back and you're like, I felt great. I was doing everything right.
Exactly.
And then you're just like, why can't I do that again?
Why
like,
can I be
yeah,
that version of me?
which is totally normal. I have gone through the exact same thing. So in 2021, we did an Elite Fit Challenge for ferals, and I won, and I lost like 25 pounds, and I did it so sustainably. I did it in a very healthy way. I also logged the journey on Instagram, and I set goals for myself each week. And if I didn't hit the goal that week, I kept it as a goal. Like one of mine that I never, ever was able to continue or do was to sit down and eat all of my meals, like at the kitchen table. I'm terrible at that. Like, and so that was my goal for like 3 weeks, like just sit down and eat your food. But I would just really I'm a big counter eater, or like we eat in the living room, and just mindlessly eating, which is not always a bad thing. Honestly, sometimes it's okay to detach yourself from that. Like it's fine. But that was like a goal for many weeks and I just couldn't do it. So I'm like, fine. But it was like a certain amount of steps a day. It was all about consistency. So, 7 hours of sleep, 15,000 steps a day, and like certain water, drinking 3 liters of water, like super healthy and sustainable
And it probably
goals.
felt really easy to do too.
Yeah,
Like
it was.
I did that.
Right.
Why can I do that again?
Very easy, keeping it front of mind, doing it, putting myself out there just like you were, like that is motivating. And so I ended up winning the Elite Fit Challenge. I was like the lowest weight that I had been for a long time. So that ended in like January. I was awarded it in like maybe February or March, the prize. There was like a belt that came with it. It was really cool. I was like doing this for our members. I wanted them to see like, you can do this too. But then by August of that year, I got injured and I had like a bulging disc in my back, and I like ignored it for way, way, way too long. So like obviously didn't do anything about it. And I look back now because we record our workouts for our virtual platform, and I can see how I was overcompensating for a lot of this pain that I was in. And pain is a stressor to your body. So like not only was I not able to do as much, but I was definitely stress. My body was in much more stressed kind of all the time because you're just always in pain. Definitely did some kind of binge eating. And for me, when I get into like a binge eating cycle, it's not about the food. It's about distracting myself from what I'm trying to ignore.
Other forms of pain.
Right.
Yeah, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. So it's not where it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store. Binge eating can look so different for so many people. And it's not like I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to buy all this stuff I shouldn't eat, and I'm going to eat it all at one time, which I think is what most people think binge eating is. But for me, it was just a ton of mindless eating because I could do it in the car. I could eat in the car mindlessly and not have to like think about
anything else.
Right.
You're
Anything
just
else.
turned off completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like scrolling on social media. Like you're just doing it. No thoughts are in your head. It's just pure entertainment. And it's just, it numbs you completely.
And that's what it was for me. And I've obviously gained a lot of that weight back, and I'm still struggling to get back to not even where I was. I don't ever need to get back to that point because there's nothing wrong with having short-term goals, especially aesthetic goals. But at the same time, like I am healed up from my injury. My activity level is back to where it was pre-injury. I'm eating healthier than I was eating at that time because I was really just focusing on macros. Now I'm focusing on nutrients, fueling my body and like eating more fruits and vegetables, not just worrying about protein, carbs, and fats or whatever. And I still can't get back to there. I'm okay with that because I'm also able to do everything I want to do. But I know exactly what you mean. It messes with your head.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
So
easily.
much.
Yes, I would say so. And it's funny that you say that. So I have never really had like a serious injury ever in my life.
Because you're a baby.
God.
I didn't either when I was in my 20s.
Right. I never thought it was going to happen either. I was like, I'm healthy. Why would I get injured? I'm cool. But there was one time in December where I dropped a plate on my toe and I broke my toe. So it was nothing crazy. I could still walk and everything, but I couldn't lift like I used to. I couldn't go on walks or anything. So that was kind of like a limiting factor. So that was added stress. It was it was out of my control. I couldn't do what I used to be able to do. So adding that on my plate was horrible. I thought it was hilarious. It was very fun to laugh at. Like, I broke my toe. Cool. But deep inside, I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. It's so hard.
Humbling moment. And I feel like, you say like how you had all the success and then all of a sudden something changed out of nowhere and
that you didn't have control over, like you said.
Truly. And you felt like in those moments on where I was, I'm not saying I'm not successful or I'm not happy now, but when I was feeling myself very confident, physically, I was great. I was great in my job. I was great at school. Like everything was going super well. Part of me didn't realize how temporary that was going to be. I thought it was going to be permanent. I thought that was like going to be like my new thing and that nothing was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think I simply got a little too lean. I think I lost quite a bit of weight. And that's where the binge eating cycle came back. Just out of a lot of hunger, I kind of stopped eating. And I avoided that. I knew deep inside it wasn't super healthy for me to be that small, but I was like, I'm here. I might as well soak it all in. So once came back, it was a lot of stress. And then school started and it was just a really hard time to kind of get back to normal in a way, which I don't really know what normal is in my eyes, but I kind of had to lower my expectations. Like you said, like some people said I'm super high. I simply had to lower my expectations to just have 3 meals a day or to enjoy my workout, or maybe that's think of the positives throughout the day, or maybe it's just journaling, like setting those really, really small goals that aren't going to make a huge difference in that one day, but long term, it's going to be very mentally healthy for me. And it's going to get me back to where I feel good, which is all I really needed. And I'm realizing that now that I don't have to focus on what I look like so much. It's a small part of me.
You're the same person.
Yes.
We talked about off break. Like you're the same person. Nothing about you changes.
No, not at all.
Internally.
Not at all.
And the funny thing is too, like, I mean, people would look at you and just be like, what are you talking about?
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. They're
I know.
like, you look great. What are you talking about? And I'm like, I know. I wish I thought the same.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Yeah. Like that is so true. And you will, even now, like when you're so hard on yourself, you will look back on this at some point and be like, what was wrong with me? But
I was great.
Nothing,
I was in such a good spot.
Yeah.
Yes,
nothing was
truly.
wrong with you. This is totally normal. And I think most women especially go through this, where it's just the stakes are so high. So I think that's the big thing. So, but you kind of stepped away from social media, but you also have like taken it a step further and like you actually got help too.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's important because people think like you thought you had fixed yourself. You thought, well, I haven't been binge eating, so I'm cured.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Over the summer, all I did was learn about dopamine and how dopamine worked. And that clicked for me. A lot of people have those moments where something just clicks and it's like this huge aha moment. And then you get all this success and all these results. And then I'm realizing that it was just kind of a Band-Aid over the situation. It was a Band-Aid over the binge eating. It worked very short term, but I knew it was a deeper problem that I needed to solve. So I knew I couldn't do it on my own, and recognizing that and realizing that was really hard for me. I've always been a very independent person. I've always wanted to do it on myself. I'm a type A. So when I want something, I'm going to get it and I'm going to be the best at it.
Well, and like you said, you're very analytical and there's so much data out there. So like, why would I go see someone else to help me when I can just immerse myself in researching this?
Yeah.
Which that's still not internalizing anything, really.
I wanted to think logically and be like, well, this macro does this. And I know I know what it does. And I know, like, I knew all these things and these proven facts, but I couldn't get it down. And I realized that it was a lot of emotional and what my mindset was like and how I would talk to myself. So once I reached out for help and started opening up about it a little bit more, I realized that it was a very normal thing, first of all, which was nice to hear, and that it's not the end of the world. Like, I'm obsessing over something so small that it, in my eyes, it's a huge, it's a very temporary problem that no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to be okay. And that it's a very small problem in me. I'm kind of viewing it as a part of me that I am all of a sudden identifying as myself as like, oh, I binge eat, so I'm a binge eater. You know, it's like, no, you have a small part of you that does cope with your feelings and your emotions with food. And it's curable, it's temporary, but it's not your whole identity. It's not who you are at the end of the day. So reaching out for help was definitely something that helped me a ton, but I didn't want to do it. I never really believed in therapy. All I saw therapy was you're just getting advice from someone who just knows the brain better than I do. I can do that myself. No, it's really somebody who understands your thought process and can kind of pick out red flags, green flags, and just there for support at the end of the day. Because I don't have a huge support system where I'm just constantly getting all this advice. It's kind of just me in my own little world. So reaching out to somebody who kind of understood and that was there to advise me with the right advice was very nice to do. But the act of doing it wasn't my thing. Didn't want to do it. But
I think that's so true for so many people. And if that's the one thing that your generation can kind of break that stigma of, you're going to be so far ahead of the curve as you get older.
Yeah. Like focusing on the mental health. I know it's kind of becoming more of a talk is like your mental health is very, very important. And for some people, they don't believe in that. They're like, that's mental health is just a mindset. Like, you're depressed.
Just be happy.
Just say it. Stop telling yourself you're depressed. Well, sometimes it's a deeper underlining. Sometimes there's a little bit deeper of a root that you need to kind of identify and pick out the distorted thoughts and rewire those. And it's hard to do that on your own. So reaching out is not a bad thing at all. And I have a lot of people, like I feel like a couple weeks ago, I was at the gym and I was talking to a young boy my age, and he was going through a really, really hard time. And he was like, I think I'm so low that I need therapy, but I don't want to get therapy. That sounds bizarre. That's not something I do. And I'm like, okay, I was once in your position. Hear me out. It's a game changer. And whether you go for 2 months, maybe you go for 2 weeks, either way, you're going to get some sort of answers. And it is
like, what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah. What else is there to lose is what I would say. Like, what else is there to lose? Like, just give it a try. Like, maybe you get the answers you want and maybe you don't, but either way, you're going to get a new perspective, another outsider perspective that has no idea what's going on and maybe can recognize some red flags or some ways that aren't right and that you can change. So I think that'd be a really awesome thing if we could start normalizing, prioritizing mental health and therapy. For sure.
Awesome. Well, we will take our last break, this technically is our last break. Then we'll come back with our final segment.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association. In partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Old School with DP and J.
Nebraska and their staff, football-wise, have done a really good job of, keeping guys, happy. And then obviously they see the opportunity here. Whereas I don't think there's a general reason that you can say, okay, this is why kids are going in the portal. Now we're seeing, even when they're in really good situations for them, they still leave.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we are back for our last segment, Fitness Fanatics, and let's just talk about, well, I actually wanted to get Harrison, kind of your perspective. So you've kind of been listening, but you're also in that same kind of Gen Z. Well, you definitely are.
Close enough.
Yeah. Are you?
Right, 99. I have no idea what that breakdown
Katie and I
is.
looked
That sounds
it up,
right.
but I don't know. But yeah, so what's kind of your perspective on that? Like the male perspective of all of this?
For like, in terms of like
Just what's resonated with you here in the last.
Yeah, when you guys were talking about like binge eating, the biggest thing, I think a lot of people just get into it because of boredom.
I
Like,
think that's true. The emotional eating.
Yeah, they don't have a hobby or anything, or they're just struggling. Like everything's just, especially like after high school, college, because I even kind of got into that. I wasn't binge eating, but definitely just moments of boredom, and I'd snack a little bit, maybe more than I needed to. I think that's a big thing.
I think that's huge for guys, especially because that is Jeff for sure. Like he will kind of get into that and he'll just get like, he'll be bored and then he'll just go grab like a bag of Doritos. I'm like, why are you even eating that? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? I know.
I am bored.
Yeah, I know. I think that's definitely something that, and I'm sure it happens to women too, but I think that is very like for guys to like have that awareness and recognize like, are you just doing this because you're bored? You're probably not trying to necessarily escape from something, but
yeah, because that's usually what happens to me. If I'm eating poorly, it's because I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like I'm not,
Yes.
I didn't have a bad day or anything. I'm just like bored, or if you want to relate more to guys, watching games.
Yeah.
It's a long game, football game. You're just eating the whole thing because you're kind of, in between. There was a million commercials in between them. And then it's like, far as the therapy, I think that's just tough for guys to admit to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things where if you really need it, I recommend it. But we kind of talked off break. Make sure if you're going to go that route, get a therapist whose goal is to get you in and out of therapy. Not like quick process, like you're going to be out however long it takes. But the goal of therapy is to not go to therapy once a week, all year, every year.
Yeah.
The goal is to eventually
grow. There should be some growth there for sure.
If you have a therapist who's, patting you on the back, who's bringing up a last second thing, looking at the watch, like, oh, okay, I'll see you next week again. Ran out of time. And it just kind of goes on and on. Like definitely look around at other therapists. Like don't be locked into one if it's not working for you.
Yeah. It's not a one size fits all for sure. It's just like anything else. Like if you were working with a personal trainer talking about fitness and your goals didn't align with, kind of their process, then you wouldn't work with that person.
If their style of
forever.
training isn't the same as yours, then why would you work with them?
Yeah. And it's okay. That's fine too.
Yeah.
But I know Amy Olson, who has been on our show before, she shared, and this is talking about the mental health, that the suicide rates actually increase in April, May, and June. Those are the highest months for suicide.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Spring?
Yeah. And so she had said, and I just want to bring this up because we're talking about the mental health, because she had posted it on her social media and someone said, why do you think that is? And she says, some of the theories are people were trying so hard to make it through the hard winter thinking they were going to feel better once spring came.
Yeah.
And then they didn't, and then she said during winter and early spring, people who are depressed may be surrounded by others who feel down because of the weather. But when spring arrives, people who are depressed because of the weather cheer up, while people who have actual, depression are still kind of stuck. And so that made a lot of sense. And I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, so especially now that we're talking about the mental health part of it. So if you are kind of that person right now where you're just like, everyone else is just soaking in the sun and loving it and nothing has changed for you, that might be your wake up call that you maybe need to go talk to somebody. So I was surprised to see that too. I think people think that it's the holiday season is the biggest.
And the winter blues.
Right. Yeah.
It's very normal.
But that's normal. And you're kind of surrounded by people that are struggling, and it's easy to find someone that can resonate with how you're feeling. But then once we come into the spring, and I think that's probably really true in the Midwest because our seasons are so different, so just an awareness there, kind of focus on your mental health a little bit. But then before we go, do you have any advice that you want to throw out there, Lexi, for just, what are your parting thoughts here? I definitely appreciate having you on and being a little vulnerable. And hopefully this helps you in your journey too.
I'm seriously honored just to be here. I didn't, like we talked about before, I didn't really want to at first. I was very questionable because I still am suffering today. I still am going through so much.
Well, and that was our conversation because you were really vulnerable with me about it when I brought it up. You're just like, I don't know, I'm actually really struggling. And I'm like, I do not want to pressure you. Maybe talk to your therapist about it, have a conversation, see if it would be helpful for you in your journey too. So I was really excited when you reached back out and you're like, no, I think I want to do it.
I think it was too good of an opportunity to miss out on just because I'm not happy with where I'm at physically. Just because my physical state isn't where I want to be does not mean I need to miss out on life itself. So I'm glad I said yes. Good. And advice for anybody out there, whether that's girls my age, maybe that's girls Nicole's your age, anybody really, I always think that focusing on the positive helps people a ton. Because I think that where my problems stem from is negativity, negative self-talk, negative views on what I'm doing to a day-to-day basis. But once I pick out the positive things with my habits and with life, having more gratitude, it helps me so much.
Yeah.
Whether that's journaling, I'm a big journaler. Journaling what you're grateful for, what positives you had throughout the day, picking out the positives of what you look like, what you love about yourself always help me. But staying positive through those hard times really do help. And then with the social media thing, that's very personalized. Some people can do social media perfectly fine, and some people really do struggle with it. And if you are in a tough place where you don't like where you're at and you know deep down inside that the social media does not help you, sometimes you got to just do cold turkey and just completely delete it, cut it off. Maybe you cut it down to like 15 minutes a day. Maybe you do it for a whole week. You do no social media and just see how you feel. Because at first I didn't think it was going to help me a ton. I thought it would make me worse. But once I completely cut off all social media, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, literally everything. I really don't have. I'm off my phone a ton. I forget about everybody who I went to high school with. I forget about what I looked like in high school, and I can focus on where I'm at right now, which makes me 10 times more grateful, and it helps me look into the future a little bit better. So the social media, some people can do it and love it and can make a career out of it. You can make great money off of it. It's great for marketing, but if it's consuming your life and it's just adding more onto your plate, just step back for a little bit. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're not missing out on a ton of stuff.
No,
So,
not at all.
Yeah, I think
Not
that's
at
very
all.
important. So if that's something that you're worried about, then just like you said, give it a try. Try doing 24 hours no social media and then see how you feel, or 48 hours, or, just kind of give it a try and see. And maybe you're like, it's really not that big of a deal. Then that's fine. Then find something, maybe try to find something else. But all right, well, we'll wrap this one up. Thank you so much for coming. It was so fun. I love talking to you. It's just, we have a lot of good conversations.
Thank you.
And then we'll be back next week. I'm not 100% sure, but we will definitely get back on track with the Bears talk with Jeff and Harrison next week. So if you've been missing that.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. We got Sadio Fenner of UNL Track up next, and then we'll be to the Breeze. So plenty left here on Tick Weekends. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.